You want to trade places, Adam?
Wow.
Oh,
You
it's
want
fine.
You want to host?
What'd you do?
I
Host
guess.
with the most? Be the host with the most?
All right,
turn
who
your-
we
you
have
gotta
in
turn
here? It's
gotta
Monday
turn your
night.
TV
I don't
off.
know if anybody knew that or not, but it's
It's
Monday night.
Monday. Didn't they used to
And
do like
Night
wrestling or
is
something?
cram sessions.
Cram session.
Hope everybody studied for the quiz.
I
Who we
didn't.
got in here? Go ahead and start shooting your questions in the chat, and we will star them so we can answer them. Looks like we got Daniel Baker, Misunderstood, Keith Rodman, EMR Coins, Rebecca Zukutny, Randy Ant 2242, Kyle Preston, Blues Coins is here. Snoopy Doo Blues. I hope you can make it to the show in June or July. I forgot.
End of June, 29th, 30th, and is that right?
Yeah.
Soon, yeah.
Nancy Crowell, Making Minnesota, Namaste, Ruby Red, Christopher Johnson, Michael Godspeed, Treyman, Joey K, Corn Curious, Scott Holiday, Great Scott, David Gonzalez. We also Hector's, Indigon's here, Matt Sentol. Did I miss any? I might have missed a few.
Raise your hand.
Well,
if we
welcome.
missed you.
Great Scott.
Raise your hand if we missed you.
If you're new, raise your hand. We like to know who's new also. So
Yes, and let us know how you heard about us. Besides me yelling from the roof. I don't have the answer to that one, Kyle. I'm sorry. You have to ask Michael Kittle. Michael Kittle will know the answer to that.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? As much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
That's right.
That's right.
Mike Schleisleis.
Schleisleis. Watch out.
Oh.
Growl.
okay, Joe, welcome, new guy. He's new.
Gone Demon.
I
Okay.
got one. Are all partial colors taken? Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Tonight is. Wow, your cat is fat.
He's huge. Go lay down
Oh
now.
my God.
He's huge.
I thought my cat was fat once upon a time ago, but she's lost weight. Tonight,
Thanks,
we're
Eric.
going to answer questions in the chat. Tonight, we will not be answering any questions, coin picture questions or anything like that. We just essentially answer kind of like trivia. Thank you, Silver Stacker.
Thank you, Silver Stacker.
Thank
It is Monday night. Yes,
Good to
thank
see you.
You're the
you.
best.
Tonight is
So yeah, we're going to answer some questions tonight. If you have a question, a coin question, general question, please ask it in the chat, and we will answer it.
We will do our best. If we miss one, which there's a lot of them already popping up, if we do miss one, and we seem to be, ignoring it or not seeing it, put it back in the chat so we'll see it, please.
Okay. Actually, I already see them coming in. That's good. That's good. Paula, do you want to go ahead and go over the announcements, or?
Sure. I don't have any. No
Oh.
announcements other than, we can.
Do you want to do the typical?
Yeah.
We could do the fast one. No.
Do the fast one?
Yeah.
Sure. We'll do our typical announcements, and then we'll get to your guys' questions. If you guys want to go grab, if you've been here before and you've heard this, been there, done that, go grab a coffee or a snack or,
Thank you, Stray Man. $5 super chat. Thank you so much.
See a man about a horse, whatever you need to do. So this is just a couple minutes long. So here we go. So now's the time where I go through my spiel. If you've heard it before, go grab some coffee, go to the bathroom, get a snack, whatever. We'd like to encourage everybody to join the American Numismatic Association, the ANA. It is our national coin club. With the ANA, there's membership perks. You'll receive free admission to the World's Fair of Money and the National Money Show, videos, podcasts, blogs, coin collecting tips, online research tools, games, quizzes, and everything numismatic. You'll enjoy exclusive discounts on ANA seminars and money museum auctions, coin collecting publications, books, supplies, collections, insurance, and much more. You can explore spectacular collections of coins and paper money from the nation's largest numismatic museum. You'll have access to the best educational programs in the hobby, webinars and seminars, lectures, correspondence, courses, and more. You'll get a subscription to the Numismatist, where you get 12 issues of Coin Collecting's premier magazine delivered digitally or to your doorstep. If you want the printed version, you just have to upgrade your membership. You'll receive $15 off a new NGC or PMG membership. They also have the Young Numismatist program. ANA sponsors programs geared specifically for young collectors, where they can earn free coins, participate in an auction reserved just for youngsters, challenge themselves with games and activities, and make lasting friends. And we have the link right there. You can learn more at blah, 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 blah. Just go to the ANA and search the YN program. There's also a club called CONECA, Combined Organization of Numismatic Error Collectors of America. We encourage everybody who likes errors and varieties to join that group. You'll get a subscription to the club's award-winning journal Error Scope, published 6 times a year, which in my opinion is worth the membership price in and of itself. New memberships will also get a free U.S. variety coin, either a repunchment mark or a double die when you join. You'll get a club membership card and an invitation to the annual Errorama, including the awards banquet, the annual meeting, and the cherry pickers contest. You'll have access to members-only area of the CONECA website, where you can view electronic back issues of Error Scope from 2004 through the current issue. We also have a Facebook group called the Coin Q&A. We encourage everybody in here to join that if you have Facebook. It's a great place a great alternative to sending us an email. We just ask that you answer all of the membership questions and agree to the group rules. We have some great people in there helping us, and that's it. On to the coins.
Well, no coins tonight, but still.
No coins tonight. Just questions.
Coin questions. Your coin questions. Ida's in the stream. Hey, Ida. Who else do we have coming? We have
one more announcement.
Oh, one more.
You guys want to stay to watch this one. So, one more video. Real quick one. But you'll want to stay to watch this one.
Best of the best coin community.
Why are there crickets?
Crickets. That always cracks me up.
Hilarious.
I don't know.
We got another new person in here. 808P Ayler. First time on the live stream.
Nice. Thanks for coming, 808.
Thank you for coming.
You're very welcome, Ida.
Yeah, so we're getting questions in. I think we should go ahead and start answering.
Cool. Yep, let's start. We got quite a few already, right?
Thank you everybody for coming. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up. Or if you don't like our answer, you can hit the thumbs down.
That's true.
Okay.
So have a penny from 94. It looks proof, but doesn't have a mint mark. Is that possible? And what all ways to tell a good or Titeli proof paint.
So I actually have a picture that I can show that I pulled up. There we go.
David, Lucky Duck, NC Prospectors. Everybody's coming in.
So obviously this is showing the 1990 no S proof. Normally the proofs would have an S mint mark on them. So don't pay any attention. This is just a visual to show you kind of a visual difference. There's quite a bit of difference. You will know a proof when you see it, typically. Impaired proofs, they can be pretty trashed. So,
but there are proofs from Philly, certain years, right?
Certain years, yes.
So I don't know where would be the best place to look them up if you were looking.
PCGS coin facts.
There you go. So does that answer that question?
So I hope does that answer your question, Ramon?
He said okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. Let's see here. All right. Next, we've got another one from Ramon.
Oops, let me take this off here.
So, mint marks, how can there be a D over S and vice versa when coins are minted in different mint locations?
That's a great question.
Well, Philadelphia, right, makes all the dies, correct?
Used to, yeah.
Used to. And then they shipped them to San Francisco, Denver, and or was it Philadelphia that added I can't remember. Which one was it? I think it wasn't it Philadelphia that added the mint marks? Okay.
Yeah.
And then they sent them to the Denver and San Francisco. And then let's say Denver needed an extra die or vice versa, San Francisco needed an extra die. And they just would send that die over. Denver would send that die over to San Francisco, and they would try to remove that S mint mark and remove the D mint mark and put an S mint mark. And
exactly.
same at Denver. So,
well, they wouldn't really remove it; they just strike over it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get them. But that was back whenever they were hand punched into the dies.
Mainly 30s and 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Mainly.
Prior to 1990, the hand marks.
Right. So
the mint marks were hand punched into the die. They weren't part of the master
die.
Yeah.
Which happened in 1990, right?
Except for proofs, but that's a whole other thing.
Right.
For this discussion,
right.
Sean will not be joining us this evening, and he usually takes tonight off. So
he's got a lot on his plate.
Daniel Baker, question: Do mechanical double coins have any sale value? Thank you.
Somewhat.
Okay.
They can. Should they?
They can.
No.
They shouldn't. That very common. Very. It's considered damage actually. But some crazy examples I've seen sell for some good money. It does happen. A lot of people put them up on eBay, and they do sell for decent money. But it's not something that I would pay a lot of money for because it's very common. Very, very common.
Very, very, very common. And it's actually a form of damage. It's actually called machine doubling damage. So because the intended design is struck on that coin, and the split second that intended design is struck into the coin, anything that happens after that is considered damage, post-striking damage. So that little vibration, that little bounce, that little shimmy, that little slide, is damaged. So hi, Justin.
Do we know anything about 7 mace and 2 candarines coin?
I actually pulled it up.
Sweet.
Oh,
so I can read it if you guys want.
sure.
So China, Yunnan province, 7 mace, 2 candarine dollars. I don't know. Anyway, it says 7 mace, 2 candarines in the Chinese weight system is equal to the amount of silver used in $1 at the time. The denomination was designed with this in mind, and the coins are listed as dollars in some catalogs. Genuine coins weigh 26.8 grams and measure 39 millimeters in diameter. They're struck on 0.900, 90% pure silver, not sterling, which is 925. The Chinese inscriptions read Yu, Nan, Sheng, Zhao, and Guang Su, Yan, Pao, Quang. Anyway, Guang Su was the ruler at the time. A worn $50 US dollar approximate catalog value, average circulated $250, well preserved $600, fully uncirculated $3,000.
Wow.
Apparently, they are highly counterfeited.
Okay.
I can pull up picture.
Okay.
Whoops. Sorry, that wasn't it. Stop screen, present, share screen. This is the benefit of asking your question early in chat. We can do a little bit.
The research.
So there's your, and most of these things, you guys, can be easily found on that weird thing we have called the internet. You just type in your Google search. All I did was type in the Google search bar exactly what that was, and there were several different things I could have pulled up. So
Okay.
I didn't know that off the top of my head. I had to look it up. Go figure.
Indigon Demon, I've got one. Are all partial collars technically broad stripes or no? If not, what is the actual cutoff distinction?
So
Good question.
technically, yes. Because the collar, because the coin is struck out of the collar, technically they are. There will always be, at least on one side, a change in the diameter of the coin. Tilted partial collars are different because the collar is just a little it's just a little tilted. It's not like the unseated or whatever. So does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. So the hammer die rests. The hammer die rests inside the collar, and they're on a spring. So if anything jams inside next to the die or the collar, it can cause the collar to not seat correctly next to the die. So it'll tilt, or it won't be seated at all. If that makes sense. It's kind of the same mechanism as a broad strike. The broad strike happens because the collar gets stuck. And so the planchet doesn't have a chance, the metal doesn't have a chance to go inside the collar, so it just spreads outside of the collar. If that makes sense.
I think you misunderstood. $1 super chat.
No, it's a really, some of these things are really, really hard to explain. I'm a visual learner, so I learn by seeing things. So it's sometimes it's hard for me to like verbalize what I'm trying to explain. So if you have any more questions, like just go ahead and put it in about that, because I try to explain the best I can.
Shane, you want to read this one?
Yes. Is there a doubled master hub issue for the 73S 5-cent proofs? If not, then I think I found the first class 2 for the year.
Oh,
I'll have to look that up.
There's probably master die doubling on lots of different coins.
you'll want to look under, I think, 73, though, because it would be on all 3 mints. So it'd be on Philly, Denver, and San Francisco.
Like the 72 on the Lincoln cents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Shay has a list of a bunch of them. Unfortunately, Shay's not here. I have an example of a collar here somewhere if you guys are wondering what I'm looking for. That's where I put it. Actually, I have a 3D printed one.
Oh, that's right. Brian's Variety Coins does those, doesn't he?
Yeah, but they're not. There's nothing on there. I looked it up.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's nothing on there.
It's possible it could be a new class 2. It's very possible. But it's also possible it could be master die doubling. Keep in mind, master die doubling is going to be on all the mints. It comes from the master hub. So.
Yep. And that makes the master die, and that master die makes a bunch of working hubs, and that working hub makes even more working dies, and it's the working die that strikes the coin. So all the way from that top part, all of those dies that are made from that are going to
maybe send some pictures in, and we can see if Shay's got more information for that particular year.
That would be a good one for the email.
And just so you guys know, I did have a John Wexler is retiring.
Yes.
So he's going to be updating his website with the information. If you guys have a new variety, try to hold off sending him anything because he's not wanting to take any new submissions. He's going to have all that information of the attributors that you can start using on his website, or you can use Koneka. So
varieties.
Ant also wants to know, what's a railroad rim look like on a cent? Do we have any images?
Oh, I'll show you. So if you look up Ant, look up misaligned die. Hang on. Look at misaligned die strike. I'll show you. Whoop, that one's not wanting to pull up pictures. I'm going to pull up Chris's Adventures in Coin Roll Hunting. Coin roll. Okay, there it is. 1 second. Give me 1 minute and I will pull up a picture so you guys. It's taking me a minute. I have to go all the way down to his blog. Okay. Does he have a picture on there? Yes. Okay. Share. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit on that. Whoops. So that's what a railroad rim looks like. Good?
That's cool.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. Oh, he said on Airref? Just in general?
I will put this. Hang on a second.
Put that link in there.
Here we go. That is Chris Rhodes' blog. There's a lot of good information on that.
He's got some good information on his stuff.
He has great information on damaged stuff, pictures of different damaged coins, all kinds of stuff. So it's a great blog. He needs to get back and do some more work on that.
Will mouth
David
error
Gonzalez.
continue? I think we've had this one before. Will the mouth error
Yeah.
continue to be on all the women's quarters from 22 to 2025? Yes, it will, unless
yeah.
they were to change something about the.
So Karnak says, that's for you, all you old folks. Most likely.
That is a weak part on the die, and it looks to be where it's going to break the easiest, and you're going to get those big old fat die chips right on the corner of the mouth. Kind of like if you look at Lincoln Wheat Sense, they got those buy errors on the Liberty. That seems to be a weak point on those also. Same kind of concept there.
Yeah, so it's part of the design. It's the reason for it is because of the design, and that's what, like they couldn't anticipate that, hey, that was going to be a weak spot, but it just turns out to be.
Seems like anywhere there is a change in relief from the field to the devices, that's always a vulnerable area. So.
Right.
Joey wanted to ask Sean about his new Platinum.
Isn't it pretty?
Wow.
We actually got an email from somebody. I'm going to put it in we'll see. We have a lot of coins next week to show, but somebody got a 1 ounce gold. Ring.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
Ring.
I don't know who this is.
Booty call. Oh. Hello. Read his lips, you guys. Read his lips. Somebody read his lips. Amanda, you have a question.
But yes,
Sean,
hopefully he'll share it with us. He might share it with us next week, so stay tuned.
Sure he will, because I will make him. I will make him share it.
We have an update on this yet?
Nope.
No.
Sure don't. Except that it was pulled off of Amazon.
Yeah, I think we all want to know where the Cherry Picker's Guide is. The new
If
one.
I hear anything, you guys will be the very first people to know. I promise. So, bye, Tyler.
Wow. So did you hear there's going to be a pair of 2013 B stars going to a real auction with Heritage in May? The currency signature auction. Pre-bidding starts April 14th. I did not know that, but that would be interesting to kind of see how that goes.
You didn't know that either. I do know that there is a certain individual that's going to be having a display on the 2013 B series at the Vegas Coin Show. I heard Little Bird told me that. Little Birdie. No, Paul, he's not taking his site down. He's going to update his site. He's just retiring. So I don't know what will happen with if these people are actually going to maintain that site. I don't know what's going to happen with the website. I imagine he's going to leave it up.
He's got a lot of health issues, so he probably just needs to get out because of that reason, I'm sure.
Me too, Paul. Like 3 times I've had it in my cart and like on the wait list, and then I get an email. Oh, your item's been removed. Okay, whatever.
Lucky Duck asks, "Hey, live coin Q&A. Do you think the coins in Vault Box from NGCX will increase in value over time since they are labeled Series 1? In my honest opinion, yes, they will. Just because, yeah. So, just because
you don't want my opinion, I'm not going to say it.
It's a lot of. It's all the late. I mean, it's new labels. It's just a new concept altogether. It's like one of the first ones released. If you think about it, it's like I don't know. It's just I
think that they're going to be collectible, like the old, like the doily slabs, and the old PCGS and NGC and NX slabs, and I think they'll end up being collectible.
First generation Xbox Vault Box. And no, it wasn't my booty call, but I'm glad I answered it. It was my doctor's office, and we have ice here. I don't know if you have ice, Adam, where you're at. I had an appointment for
We
tomorrow.
had actually St. Louis had ice this morning.
Yeah.
And I had to drive to St. Louis today, and it sucked. So, yeah.
Yeah, Alfred, the prototype slabs. No such thing.
Oh, no, stray
Stephen
man. Just
Bardell,
laughing.
he has a 1957D Franklin half, extra metal in the bust, and in the R of Liberty. I'm thinking possibly a die chip. Is that what we're talking about here? That's the only thing I would think that you maybe would have extra metal just because of, the die just wearing out. The bust is very common to have die breaks on it. And then the Liberty, obviously, it's very possible to have some die chips there too. So if you can clarify, that would be great. But
yeah, you could send us pictures too, you guys. Remember that if you want to know a question, something about a specific coin, you can send us questions in our email. We won't be looking at any coins tonight, but Vault Box will be the most popular hunt at the next big coin show. No, because the big coins have been found and people have made it public.
Yeah, the big one was found.
People have made it public. So
if you have that box and you're just holding on to it, you're not going to have the big one. You might have a big one, but you're not going to have the big one. All right. Making Minnesota, the Maya Angelou P or D drilling George is some are more defined than others. Found look like a piece of hair on the side of the lip, and even found by his eye. Are they worth hanging on to? We did answer this just a little bit ago. Very common area to find those. They're common and they're probably not very valuable. They're like maybe $3 to $5 for the big.
I'd say you might hang on to those ones if they have like a whole big huge one and maybe on the nose.
Yeah, like it looks like they have like a giant mole where the rat needs to nod off the face, like
one
Uncle
that's a
Buck
big,
says,
like hair on the nose. They start off small. Most of them start off small and they grow. If it's because of something catastrophic happening to the die, something was dropped on it, it was dropped, then it can be bigger to start off with. But typically, chips, cracks, breaks, there's a progression to them. So, and that design looks weird anyway. So there are some of them that are completely normal that look like there's something there and there's not. So it's a very weird design. We said from the very beginning when we saw that design that was probably going to be an issue in that area. So.
Hey, Paula, what's the difference between an error and a variety?
This is a good question. There is a difference. So old school, years and years ago, these two things were not defined. So that's where you see a lot of old school coin shops and stuff will just call things errors, but there's a difference. So I'm going to just put it into a basic definition for you guys. A variety is typically something that is on the die that happened during the creation of the die. And every coin that die strikes will have that exact same variety. Doubled dies, RPMs, overdates, inverted mint marks, misplaced dates, things like that. Those are all varieties. Errors are mishaps somewhere in the minting process that are typically one of a kinds, but can actually be things that repeat, like die clashes. Those are errors. Die gouges. You see cut now. Most of the time, errors cannot be cataloged because they're one-off type things. Even off centers and things like that, there's always even a microscopic difference. from one to another. Cuds, die chips, things like that, you see them listed on like cuds on coins. That doesn't mean that it's a variety just because it has an attribution number. Those also have progressions. So even microscopically, they will change from one coin to the next.
So isn't a braided die a variety or an error? Because Joey's asking about the three-legged buffalo. That's
an example of. So that's where it gets blurred. Okay, to me that's not a variety just because it didn't happen during the initial creation of the die, but it can be considered a variety because it happened and then it was done. It never changed. They took the die out, they abraded it, that part of the design was gone, and it stayed the same. There wasn't like a progression or a change. So it was on the die and it never changed. Every coin that die struck after that happened, after the maintenance was done and that was abraded, every coin after that stayed the same. So that's where you get like a blurred line. It can be considered a variety or an error. Whatever happened to that die that caused them to abrade it before that, we don't know. So something happened because that was heavily abraded. So it was probably a die clash, could have been feeder finger scrapes, could have been something was dropped on the die and damaged it and they abraded that away. Could have been a number of things.
So like the Wounded Eagle Sacagawea dollar, that's a die
gouge.
It's a die gouge.
That's where it gets blurred. Okay.
Yeah, but it's on a ton of them, so
Yeah, that's where it gets blurred. Now, was that eventually worn down? And because things like that can wear down, cracks and stuff like that, they get bigger. But things like die gouges, that's where you get into them removing the die and abrading the die, retooling it, or not retooling it, but maintaining it, cleaning it up, dressing it. A lot of times they'll call it dressing the die. So does that make sense, you guys? There's a blurred line between those. So I know that most people call the three-legged buffalo a variety. But if you just think of it as something that is on the die that stays stagnant, that doesn't change, and every coin after that die strikes will have the exact same thing on it, that's a variety. If you think of it that way, that's easier.
So incorrect planchets like the copper 1943 cent is an error.
Correct.
Because that planchet should not.
That wasn't intended for. Yeah.
Right. Wasn't intended to be in there when that was being struck.
Correct. Improper alloy mixtures, improper annealing. It goes from the errors can happen from the time they melt that metal down, and it gets mixed and it gets rolled out. Anything in the minting process from start to finish, once that final strike of the coin happens, errors can occur anywhere in there. And even on things like dollar coins and where there's edge lettering and things like that, that final strike doesn't end once that design is struck because it goes through another process. So
right.
Oh, they want to know Toner Tuesday.
Die state's not a variety. Die state is just the normal, like wear and so state and stage is wear and tear on a die. Die state is normal wear of a die. Die stage is tear. That's where you get your die cracks and your chips and things like that.
Right. So what are you doing about Toner Tuesday?
You're still doing them. You're doing shorts.
I'm doing shorts.
With
now,
no music.
as far right, as far as the full show, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about bringing it back. I know a lot of people love it. It's just my job is very demanding, so I don't really have a whole lot of time to work on all the extra stuff. So shorts are a little easier for me.
Everybody likes those. I like those Toner Tuesdays too, but they're toner shorts now.
Yeah. Everyone likes your shorts,
We like your shorts.
especially the
All
Bermuda.
right.
Adam.
God.
Moving on.
Lucky Duck, I have a 1955P red scent that has doubling on the last 5 only. Is it any type of variety?
That is a poor.
No,
It's
but it's
considered a
known.
poor man's double dye, and that is just dye deterioration that's causing that last 5 to kind of give it an appearance of doubling, but it's essentially just dye wear. So
That's a late dye state.
yep.
Right.
Some people collect them. I know that some of the was it Whitman or who had it that they were put a little spot in the book for them back in the day that where you could put a 55 poor man's in there.
Oh.
But anyway,
So it was
Yeah,
well
They're
it's
known.
not a variety or an error.
not a variety.
Just damage.
Just normal.
Normal wear.
Wear. Poor man's double dye.
Hey, Big Zombo. Have any of you seen the 2021 Washington crossing the Delaware quarter with a beehive dye chip on the back of Washington's hat? I have 3 different.
That's the hamburger dye chip that Sean always talks about.
Well,
on
is he
his
talking
pocket
about
chip.
like on the very back, like
I think
like
it's
not
on
the
the
top?
hat is what they're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, on the hat.
right
It's
here, and then
can
it
find
gets
them anywhere
bigger and
from
bigger.
teeny tiny to monstrous.
Yeah, and here's the thing that they do sell. They have some value, especially if you get the
They
big
do.
fat one. So hold on to them if you have them. I would keep my opinion.
A lot of error collecting and why certain errors like cracks and chips and stuff. A lot of that is all eye appeal. Where it is, it's all eye appeal. So, like the Tuskegee Airman quarters with the big
The building
what
that
is
looks
it?
like it's
What is it? Burning building. That's what
Burning
they're
burning
called.
building. Snoopy Doo wants to know: have you considered already addressed the idea of mailing address we could physically send our coins to look at, especially for the picture challenged people like me?
Someday.
It's a liability
said-
issue.
Yeah, and I
We
was
don't
saying
wanna- we don't want to
if
be
it-
responsible if we lose your coins or if they get lost in the mail. Maybe in the future, I think Jay was talking about something, but we can't discuss that right now. But but maybe in the future. But right now, no. We just don't. First of all, we don't really have a lot of time for it. It can be time consuming. We've already our email fills up so fast, and we just barely have time to answer it as this. So
And even we are not we're not recognized as coin attributors yet. So even if you sent us your coin and we looked at it and told you what we think you have and everything else, you would still have to send it to somebody else to have it officially attributed and listed, things like that. So
you could always send it to Coneca or to James Wiles or someone like that, and they could either tell you, yes, it's attributed already as this, or hey, no, it's nothing, or it's a new one, and give you a new number and put it on their website, and that would be
and
cool.
Coneca is the only one that will look at your error coins. Wexler and Wiles do not do error coins. They only do double dyes, RPMs, varieties. So
yeah, it's probably just like I said, probably just a dye chip on that, Steven. Dye break.
Send us a picture, Roxas Lynn. Roxas Lynn?
Devin H. I have a question. I have a 1963 proof. Should have a mint mark then?
Nope. So let me look. I'm gonna go, since I don't know these things off the top of my head. So we're gonna give you exactly, go denomination by denomination real quick here. What? Proofs. So on the Lincoln cent, the 68 is the first Lincoln cent with the S proof with the S mint mark. Right?
Okay.
Yes.
So 63 would not have a mint mark because it was made in Philadelphia.
Right.
Correct.
So nickels. I'm getting all of this on PCGS Coin Facts, you guys.
Excellent resource, too. If you don't have it, you should have it.
I'll grab the
Same with NGC
on
variety.
nickels, 68. First proof with a S mint mark. Wait, is that right? 68? Yeah.
68, yes,
68.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oops, I'm losing my thing. I know I'm disappointing some of you guys out there thinking I knew all of this stuff by heart. I don't. I look things up.
It's a lot. It's a lot to hold in here for sure.
It is. 68 on the Roosevelt dimes. First Roosevelt dime. Let's look at quarters. Too bad Michael Kittle's not in here. He knows everything by heart. Probably, let's see, Washington quarter, 68. First Washington quarter proof with the S mint mark. So just so you guys don't get confused, all of the dates before these 68S that I've given you, the proofs will not have a mint mark. But neither will some of the Philadelphia business strikes. So it gets confusing sometimes, but. And I probably the same on the $50. Let's see, proofs. 68S. 68 across the board. There you go, Indigon Demon. 68 across the board. First proof.
Ida wants to know how to tell the difference between a business strike and a proof on a 64 nickel. Well,
let's
proof
look
you're
at
going to have a lot more reflective surfaces. Let's just say that.
So let me share my screen. I'm just going to show them what I'm doing here.
And a lot
show you guys
stripes.
the site I'm using. Yeah.
Yeah, because 64 strike is pretty mushy on the business strike.
So this is where I'm at. This is where I'm looking. PCGS Coin Facts. I go up here, I click on Coin Facts. It's switching the page, right? You guys can see that? Is it showing me scrolling down?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. She's asking about nickels. So I'm going to go down here to nickels. It shows you all the different ones. 64. So let's look at a 64 business strike. So there's a 64 business strike. Ida, you watching? Ida, you watching? Okay. We'll go back. We'll go to the proof. We're not going to look at 64 SMS. Don't even ask me to, because you don't have one. And up here you'll see it has proof, cameo, and deep cameo. So there's quite a big difference. You can also look at the steps. The rims are usually squared off on proofs, really squared off on both edges. Proofs
You're also
will
going to have full steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And full steps on proofs and special strikes are not
normal.
a thing. Yeah, it's normal. You don't get
unless it's an SMS. They will
Some,
still
not
attribute.
only one of them
steps on
does
SMS.
full steps, right?
No, some of them are really, really cruddy on
No, I
nickels.
mean, but
especially.
I didn't think PCGS and NGC did. I thought only one of them gave SMS full step designations.
I'm not
Maybe.
certain on which one would do it. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
But I know that some of the grading companies will recognize full steps on SMS coins because SMS is essentially a hybrid. It's a cross between a proof and a business strike.
How much does a DDO have to show to get verified its FS variety when the coin suffers from dye deterioration? The doubling is present in 3 of the 4 areas on the coin.
Okay, I'm going to answer this one because I actually wanted to answer this because I saw this in the chat. So I actually submitted some coins for somebody at a show, Jay Painter, and he had FS 1102 coins, 1909 BC, and he submitted them to NGC.
Mm-hmm.
And only 2 of them came back with the variety attribution. And keep in mind, Ken Potter already checked all these out, and they were legit.
Oh,
Okay.
if Jay Painter sent them in, they are the 1909 SVDB.
So, and I looked at them and I verified them because I
1909
sent them in
yeah.
for them. And I sent them because I used my NGC membership to send them in for them. And only 2 came back. And then he was like, why? So he contacted NGC and they said because the dye state of the double dye, they would not attribute it, which is a crock of crap. I'm going to say it right there. It's frankly, I don't care. The dye deterioration should have nothing to do with the dye state. And they do it with Franklin's too. When I send my Bugs Bunnies in, sometimes it's a late dye state. It doesn't, you can't really see the teeth very well or the booger or whatever. They'll actually not attribute it. And then PCGS will go around and they'll actually attribute the varieties properly. Actually, if you want the best chance, send it to Annex. They really do a great job at attributing the varieties. The only problem is the value just is not there for Annex graded varieties versus PCGS and NGC. So
another thing you have to consider too, though, is if you have a double dye and you have that variety, it's not going to be close. You can't say it's really close. It shows on this part, but it doesn't. It will have to be exactly like.
Yes.
I mean, you can't
right.
say, well, it has doubling over here on the 1, but it doesn't have doubling on the T of trust, but it's close enough. No, that goes back to what we talked about earlier, that double dyes happen during the creation of the dye. So it's not going to change. It's going to be the same on every single coin that strikes. So I don't know if that was the question.
I felt like what they were saying might have been that because of the dye deterioration, that part of the coin you couldn't hardly see it, but you could verify it with the rest of the coin. If you can match it up and verify it with the dye markers, with the what it does look like on the parts of the coin that are not damaged, then you can verify it as far as that goes. Now, what Adam's talking about, having issues with them putting it on a slab, might be a different story.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Sometimes and I'm gonna be honest, it sucks. That was
ridiculous.
Annoying because you pay your money, you pay the money to do it, and then it comes back, and you're like, I paid you for this service, and they did not offer the service that they were supposed to provide you.
I remember when they said that.
It annoys me so bad. Didn't
they tell him something like, we don't feel like collectors, like it would be collectible, or like it would have enough, like, who the heck do they think they are? Like, it's either there or it's not.
It is or it
isn't. Exactly.
So
yeah, Ken Potter was even annoyed by it. So it was very
And nobody
was
knows
very
those
annoying.
double dyes like Jay Painter. He makes
Yeah.
a living on those things. Like he
Kind of like
cherry-
I do with Bugs Bunny.
Right.
So
Uh,
Rebecca Zakutny, question: when is the cherry pickers guide coming? Is there a good substitute? Well,
yes. PCGS coin facts.
or get the e-reader version of the cherry pickers guide,
Kindle,
and that's
right?
really cheap, Kindle version, and that's I
'Cause
think you can even get it on your iPad, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
You don't have to have the newest one that's coming out because every one of them has pretty much the same
There'll be
information.
some new varieties
There'll be a
in the
few
new
new,
cherry pickers
yeah.
guide, but nobody knows those.
Thank you,
except for
Larry.
maybe
I'm going
a
to
few
real
people.
quick show everybody how to find cherry pickers varieties on PCGS coin facts.
Go.
I don't think
Okay.
we've ever done that before.
No.
So I'm going to show you guys real quick how to find cherry pickers varieties if you don't have a cherry pickers guide. So say you're looking for, what are we on right now? Let's go to Lincoln Cents. Let's just go to the modern ones. We'll look at, say you're looking through 1969S, right? Because that's or let's go to 1972. So say you're looking through 1972 Lincoln Cents, and you want to know if, we'll just keep it on brown. You want to know if your coin is a cherry pickers variety. You go down, scroll down here to show related coins and varieties. And this goes for any date, any mint mark. Or you're looking through a certain date, 77s, and you want to know if there's a cherry pickers variety. You can go down here and it'll say no. No, it won't say no, but there won't be anything over here on die varieties. And a lot of them will have listings over here for major varieties. This is going to be the 001 FS or FS101. So you just click on those different listings and it'll pull up a picture. And then you can just use this little circle here and you can go around. Now it's not going to have die markers for you to look for, but you can find those on a coin yourself. There will be die markers. There can be die markers on a coin that aren't listed on any of the sites in the cherry pickers guide. You can find little die scratches, things like that, that you can use as die markers yourself.
Yeah, like the die markers they use are sometimes a little die dot, a little ding, a little gouge, whatever.
Scratch. Mm-hmm.
And this is NGC's Variety Plus.
That's Variety Plus, yeah.
Yeah, so you can do all the different varieties. Lincoln Cent. Let's go down here.
That's true, Michael. You can click on the photos, and then it'll have a little download arrow. You can download the photos too.
And they'll put little photos on each one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a variety. I'll let you know. They even have varieties that aren't recognized in the cherry pickers guide, and those are always good to look for. Also.
Hi, Michael Kittle. By the way, how you doing?
How you doing?
Let's see here. Are feeder finger scrapes worth pulling out?
If you like them,
If you like them,
if you like them, and you think they're cool, that goes with anything in this hobby. You collect what you like. It's your hobby. It's your collection. You collect what you like. That's the beauty of it. If you want to pull them out because you think they're going to make you money, probably not.
They're not. They're probably not unless they're like really huge. Yeah. You might get a few bucks for them.
But they're going to be so common because once those feeder fingers scrape the die, same thing as we talked about before. Every coin that die strikes after that is going to have the same, unless they pull it off and abrade them away. So
Blues has a question.
The broad strike that looked like an off center. Sure. So the way you can tell an off centered from a uncentered broad strike is that an off-centered strike is going to have part of the design missing. That's how
Right.
they tell the difference between the two. A uncentered broad strike is that all the design is going to still be there.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Sure does. Let's see here.
And that's a lot of times the only way to tell the difference. Or yeah, so is if an off-centered strike has part of the design anywhere on the coin missing, then it's an off-centered.
Matt has a question, and he says he has some 1970 D cents with the top of the D missing. Is this fairly common? Does not look like it's a. I'm assuming you mean filed die area.
Filled die.
Okay,
Filled
so I'm going to say this: 70D is very common to have clashing, and I've seen numerous 70Ds where clashing was real strong, and then they just abraded the dies to oblivion. And that mint mark can be partially removed because of the over abrading of the die to remove the clash on the die. So that's probably why that is partially missing.
The glue is Drickett. If you have glue on a coin, it's a damaged coin. It doesn't matter where even if it happened at the mint, if they got glue on the coin somewhere in the mint, it's still damage.
Oops.
It's still damage. So
do you have the dime size?
Glue on coins is not part of the natural minting process.
Did they have a dime size, Paula, for the
what? Oh, so what was the dime? I don't know, Aunt, but you could do the same thing I did and just type in 7 Mason 2 Candarine coin in Google, and all kinds of information comes up. I don't know. I don't know anything about them other than what I read to you guys. So, and they're really cool looking.
Answer
Amanda
this
might
question.
know. Amanda, you collect world coins. Do you know anything about them?
Oh.
Not those in particular. I don't really do because I can't read them.
Yeah, I know when Lewis did that. Remember summer seminar when Lewis did that whole thing on how to figure out the date on a. Yeah,
it's rough sometimes.
Maybe email Christian Harch. He's good into world coins too. He knows a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Treasure Town, so
Treasure Town.
Yeah.
Christian from Treasure Town. Yep.
The answer to this question is pretty much yes, unless they decide in the future to do something. But more than
they're
likely,
still out there. They're still out there in circulation, though. You can still find them in circulation
anymore. So
I don't think so. You never know, though. We're talking about the U.S. Mint.
True. Alan Thompson says, what about the thickness of the 30s and 40s and 50s pennies on the date?
What, is he talking about the size of the date on the dies? I think that's what he's talking about.
Maybe the question is, are they thicker than later dates? Go on, go.
What was his question? What about the thickness of the 30s, 40s, and 50s pennies on the dates?
Could you clarify for us, Alan? Send us a clarification in the chat, and we can come back to this one.
Of a date on every. So, did the designs on Lincoln cents have changed many times over the years? So the thickness of the devices, all of that has changed many times over the years. We know, especially like if you look at 1958 and 1959, 1958 Lincoln cents are kind of junk. Like a lot of times the motto and everything fades into the rim. And they knew they were an issue. So they changed the design in 1959 because they knew that was an issue. So those have changed over the years.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that probably doesn't even answer his question, but maybe it answers somebody else's. Is the with the bandanas? What? Who?
Not tonight.
What you talk
Bandanas.
about?
You know we should get bandanas with live coin Q&A on them so we look cool.
Really? Maybe we should get big gold chains too with a big like gold coin Q&A.
Sorry. Where do I discovery nickel error on 2005D struck through retained staple bison?
Well,
That's an error. We got that right. That's an error. And we'd like to look at it. If you can send it to us in the email.
And if we agree with you, we know people that you can send that to, and they may actually write up an article about it. So.
Do we have the email in the chat?
Our email? Probably not.
Email? I've put it
but
in
it's in the
times.
description of our videos. Info at. There you go. Let's pin that. Let's say pin. Pin message. Our email is in blue at the top of the chat.
Hooray!
Please don't send us 50 emails in the span of 2 minutes.
Yes.
Try to limit it to 2 to 3 a week because
there's lots.
We had somebody today that decided to send us almost 20 emails in one.
Oh, it was after you said 14, like 10 more.
Yeah. So please don't do that. We already have a hard enough time as it is getting all the emails answered. We don't need something like that to make it even more difficult for us.
Yep.
I think Joey wants to know if the new vault box is going to be the most popular hunt at the next Bitcoin show. Joey, I would feel yes. I would think that is probably going to be something that's going to be hunted at the show.
I think we already answered that. I think I'm having deja vu because didn't we say I doubt it because the Bitcoin's already been found?
It was kind of but they're still going to be selling them at the big shows.
Oh, they'll be selling them, but they're not going to sell them near what they were before the Bitcoin was found. We actually have an email in our inbox. One of our viewers found one of the 1 ounce gold. So,
Ralph Rust, hello everyone. I opened up a roll of my father's 1955 D pennies. And on the last 5, there was a larger cut and a progression to the next 5 keeps moving. What should I do? Thanks. Now, what's that mean? Keeps moving.
Last 5, there is a large. Okay. On the last 5, there was a larger. So first of all, cuds are not die chips. Yeah. Cuds are die breaks at the rim of the coin involving the rim and part of the field. That's a cud. If it's on the interior of the coin, anywhere on the interior of the coin and doesn't involve the rim, it's a die break or a die chip or a die crack.
Yep. Considered an interior die break. That's what they call that.
Yeah, because it's on the interior. Yeah. Isn't that fancy? Yep. Funny how they did that, huh?
But if you want to send us an email, we can certainly look at it for you.
Yes.
That would be the best thing for us to do.
So you guys, if you want to, if you're out there and you're watching people and they call a die chip a cud, you can correct them. Because now you know. And it'd be nice if things like that were spread around. Because people like myself see that kind of stuff and we go bananas. It's not a cud.
It's not a cud. And we have a nice video.
and we see videos. You can find this error in your pocket change, and it's a variety, not an error. And that drives us crazy.
Well, that's true too.
So thank you for whoever asked that question earlier. Appreciate it.
Paula, it's
Huh?
for you.
Nico?
Oh,
This one's
Paula.
for you.
I get that all the time. So it can stand for Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, or Philadelphia, Dahlonega, and San Francisco. But because I am a error collector, it stands for Planchet, Die, and Strike.
I thought it meant Paula don't smile.
Paula, don't smile.
Dream Crusher.
Dream Crusher, that's me.
Tim says, starting to realize an unanticipated problem with coin roll hunting wheat pennies. How do I get rid of all these unwanted pennies? That's a good question.
It depends. Are they uncirculated or are they circulated? Because that
The wheat pennies.
uncirculated ones do sell. I mean, they
3 to
both
5
sell.
They both sell. Worn out ones.
Yeah.
Coin shops will usually pay like 3 to 5 cents. Some 2 to
Take
4 cents.
like if you have a bag, like I have a big mint bag of them. I'm just collecting them, and then once I fill it, I'm just gonna get rid of it. So.
And kids love them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Use them at Halloween and hand them out.
Yeah, and actually, you can turn some into the bank, and they end up back in circulation, maybe for a kid or another collector. It's always good to do that. That's what they did. What the Great American Coin Hunt, right?
What did they do? I'm sorry. I was doing my thing. What did they do at the Great America Coin Hunt?
Do they still do that every year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you could do that too. You could put them in circulation or something, you know?
That's right. Coinstar machines will take them. I myself, I will sell them. I won't put now, if I have like a random like 3 or 4 wheat cents or whatever, I'll throw them in back to my bank or whatever. But I will turn them in. If I can get 3 cents for a 1 cent coin, I'm going to get 3 cents for a 1 cent coin.
Right.
Instead of 1 cent for
3 extra money. That's pretty good.
William McCullough. How can you tell if a coin was clean? Is there a difference in how to tell because of the makeup of the coin? So different coins show different tells.
Sometimes
is it the makeup or is it the way that people clean the coins? Because there's different ways.
Probably a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's hard.
If they're very abrasive, you can definitely tell. Like your first thing is luster. You lose luster on a coin, that's a big kind of an easy way to tell if it's either circulated or somebody cleaned it, which destroys the luster.
Fine lines.
Polishing lines.
On copper cents, if a lot of time, like if they use anything acidic, you can have pitting, copper cents.
Sometimes you have like gunk, and you have like
wheat cents will turn pink.
Yeah.
Wheat cents in
abnormal toning. That is another thing that you can tell usually because they might tone after they've been cleaned with some cleaner, and then they look really ugly usually. So.
Yeah, and you were saying the gunk. So like sometimes there's no gunk on the coin except for in the spots where somebody couldn't get to. That is kind of a tell sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We already answered this one, I think, for Paula. The SMS is essentially a hybrid between a business strike and a proof.
Yeah.
So.
And it was only certain years, and they didn't make a proof set when they made the SMS set, right?
No.
That's why they made them, to satisfy collectors.
So you won't find a proof and an SMS from the same year.
I have a 1964 proof Kennedy half dollar with accented hair. It also has a DDO. Is that 2 different varieties?
I don't think
That's a
that
Shay question.
There is
That-
one, an accented hair with a double die.
yes, that one. Send us pictures of it though. So that's another one that you can go to PCGS Coin Facts, and you can look up the proof 64 accented hair, and there is a FS 103, and there's also a reverse. There's an FS 802. So there is a double die obverse and a double quadruple die reverse.
Is that with the accented hair?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Your FS 802. Is that what I said? FS 802? Yeah, FS 802.
And they would consider that a variety, right? Because that was a different design. They changed the design to make the hair look more.
That's a design variety.
Yeah. So you would have a dual variety on that coin if you had a double die and that.
You would have a design.
And sometimes
variety.
you can have an RPM and a double die. It does happen. So.
But I would love to see that, because those are nice. Those are some nice varieties. So I would love to see a picture of that. Coin and card.
Hey, Amanda, you want to answer this one?
Thank you, Ruby Red, making her talk.
Well, I already answered it in the chat, but the way she described it, it sounded like it might have been an over-abraded die.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they do call that the floating head, right?
Those more on like 70s cents when I go through them.
Yeah, same issue as like what Adam was talking about, because they're so die clashing is common. So
you can have multiple errors on coins. You can have die trips, strike throughs, feeder finger marks. You can have all three of them.
Well, and when we talk about the field restricted strike through, that's normally gunk that's struck through, and it also usually has feeder finger damage.
Because that's what carries the gunk onto the die.
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
That's what moves it around.
Mm-hmm. Are there any more that we missed? I stopped starring them at a certain point, but
I found a 1980s proof. Shiny like. So Tyler, yeah, it's worth at least 1 cent. Shiny does not make a coin worth grading. Shiny does not make a coin valuable. There are lots of things that go into making a coin valuable. Rarity, condition, varieties, lots of things.
Toning.
And low mintage does not even necessarily make a coin valuable.
Eye appeal, proof proof surfaces. There's a lot that goes into the whole. Now, excuse me, I live in a basement, so yeah, the ceiling's not
What do you mean? It is finished. He likes that look.
Right?
What are you going for?
I like the rustic look,
He's going for that look. The pipes, they're not real pipes. You just put them up there for ambiance.
I saw one in here.
Any more questions that you guys can see that you want to answer here?
What is the holy grail of coin errors?
Proof coins are meant to be shiny, Tyler. So they're supposed to be shiny. They should all be a proof 68, 69, or 70. Proof coins are supposed to be really super nice. So,
what would you say is one of the best error coins that you've ever come across, Paula?
oh man, I like the pile-ups. I like I love die caps, not struck through die caps, but die caps. Probably like the off-centered Morgans. I like the really extreme errors. Error coins can get very pricey and be very extreme. They also can be very suspicious. Some of those are mint assisted. Some of the really, really top error coins you see out there didn't get there by accident.
Right.
I don't really like those. I have to say, I am not a huge fan of Arnold Margulies said that errors like that, errors that did not happen during the minting process accidentally and make it out of the mint on its own, should not be considered mint minting errors.
So thank you, William Fowler, for the $20 Canadian. He said, hello, friends. That extra waterline nickel shown last week, I got appraised for $2,600 Canadian. So I think I will get it graded now. Thank you for showing it on your show.
Oh, very nice.
Congratulations. I think you should. I had no idea that I knew it was really cool, but I had no idea it was.
That's awesome.
Worth that much. So, and that was a beautiful coin too, because they don't make proofs in Canada, right? They make like special strikes or something, or specimens. They call them specimen strikes, something like that. But it was really frosty. My cat is, hang on a second, she's gonna eat her way through the door.
All the cats are restless tonight. What's going on with that?
Right. We just need to put our 3 cats up together, you know. Amanda, do you have a cat too?
Yeah, she's not near me right now, though.
Oh, they do make proof sets? Okay, I didn't know if they made, I didn't think that Canada made proof sets. I thought they made like specimens, or they call them specimen strikes. I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Proof and specimen strikes. Okay. Well, it was definitely proofy. Pretty.
Let's see here. I got some more starred here.
Question in the chat. Misunderstood.
In 1995.
Well, 95 is known for a double die. It's a pretty nice one too.
Oh yeah.
Liberty, the whole thing in Liberty.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be the on the Philadelphia. It wouldn't just be the B in Liberty.
No.
No, all of Liberty, all of In God We Trust.
So if you want, send pictures and we can take a look at it.
So remember, you guys, we can't really answer questions about specific coins. We have to be able to see the coin. Otherwise, we're just guessing, and that doesn't help you.
True.
Tyler says, I have a 1942 quarter that I think is what you call gem. It's pristine and purplish in toning. Is that common? Yeah, you can get all kinds of toning on coins, silver or nickel. So that would be a silver quarter, and yeah, you can get purple toning. It's not uncommon. Purple is generally the kind of tail end of the toning spectrum. That's where it starts to turn black. So you don't want that to go black, because then that's when it really kind of gets ugly and not attractive. But yes, you can. Let's see here. Shannon?
Oh.
Stray Man said, found a tall grass prairie with an S mint mark. PCGS says the mintage is the same as the W quarters at 2 million. Are these considered rare enough to carry a premium? I think they carry a little premium because of the mintage, and if you can find them in decent shape. Because basically, if you find them out in circulation, they were not meant to be, to be circulated. They were only produced as collector, kind of like they're doing with, the women's quarters right now. You can buy, pristine sets of all mint marks from the mint. But in the case of the those S mint mark ones, for several years, I guess, they have been not put into circulation at all. So if you find them in circulation, I would hang on to them because they're
2012 to present.
Yeah.
2012 to present are the S mint business strike quarters, and they typically have a much less mintage than the W quarters.
Yeah, even a smaller mintage.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the mintages on there,
I think the only reason why the W's are a little bit hotter is obviously there was a lot of focus on those for the 2 years that they were made, and S mint mark, even though a particular year may not have as many produced, like the 2019 may not have as many produced as the W's that year, it's still, that W mint mark was such an oddity. That's probably the big catalyst there.
Am I like way behind in chat, or because didn't we just answer that 95 penny? The B in Liberty is double die.
I think it's getting answered. It's getting asked twice. Some people are asking twice because we're a little bit behind. Just kind of hang with us because we're kind of going through these as we can here. So,
and the proper term, you guys, and I know it seems like I am a little bit anal retentive when it comes to that kind of stuff, is doubled die. Doubled with a D at the end.
That's actually one of our questions in our Facebook group.
Doubled die.
To be a member. Yeah.
Because the die is doubled. It's not like double mint gum. It's a double.
Coming in, William.
Double mint gum.
Yeah. If you're talking about two dies, then it would be double die. But since it's one die, but that one die is doubled,
it's a doubled
die. Doubled.
Andrew wants to know what's your favorite coin in your collection.
Mine's easy at the moment.
I know what yours is.
39, is that right?
It's a little 39 nickel.
Monticello.
Okay. Yeah.
Mine is my 1930 gorgeously toned Buffalo double die FS 101. That's mine.
Well, my favorite one, and I can't pick just one favorite one because one of my favorite ones are the gifts that I've been given. And some of them have very, very little value, monetary value, but they're priceless to me. Those are my favorite ones.
Amanda, what's yours?
Probably still the Stone Mountain $50 that I got from my grandpa.
Okay. Right.
And it's probably when I would go to his house, that was the one I was drawn the most to. And I would remember looking at it. So.
Aww,
that's a cool coin.
That's very sweet.
It's nice.
My grandma had a lizard that hung off of a bowl. Has nothing to do with coins, but I remember looking at it all the time. She didn't even give it to me. Can you believe that? Jeez.
Oh, Tyler Snyder. He has a 1957 penny that weighs 1.7 grams and is really thin. Anyone knows something like that? Yes. More than likely, it's a tapered planchet.
Or acid shrunk.
Yeah. Well, if it's a really nice uncirculated coin, more likely it's probably a tapered planchet. But.
Yeah, but tapered planchets don't typically weigh that less, right?
I've maybe not that low. Mine,
that's
I think
a lot.
The lowest I've ever had was like 2.7 or something.
Yeah, send us pictures, Tyler.
All right.
Send us pictures.
Lots of questions tonight. This is crazy.
It's fun. I like answering the questions. We don't get to do it very much.
Ruby red. I have a coin that has a strike through with a tiny piece of plastic and was told, do not touch it. You are correct. Do not touch it. Do not pull it out. Do not mess with it. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Put it in something to protect
It will
it.
be worth much more that way.
Why didn't the mint produce
1960 S. Jefferson Nichols. Were all S mint proofs that year, or was there business strike and proof S mints in 1968 on the Nichols?
On the Nichols, both, right, Paula?
Mhm.
I know Penny's had them, but yeah, both of them have them.
Both.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Brain fart.
Brain fart.
Let's see here. Okay. This one I might have to. Let's see here. Hello, live coin Q&A panel. This one has been a head scratcher for me. It's a 1951D Lincoln Wheat Cent D over D RPM FS 521. I know exactly which one you're talking about. Haven't heard of any being found in MS grades. There are 1,000 and up. Okay, so I actually was at one of the shows recently. I think it was the St. Louis show. And I had found 2 of these in dealer stock. And I thought, oh my God, I found the FS 521. Well, here's the thing. They actually, Chuck Daughtry thinks it's going to be delisted. I think, Paula, you said it was delisted too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chuck Daughtry says he thinks it's actually just a die chip in the D, and it shouldn't have been the variety the whole time. So it's very possible that, and I actually sent one of mine off to PCGS, and it didn't come back with the variety. I was just kind of giving it a chance, see what would happen, but they didn't even attribute it. So honestly, it's just a die chip. I think I honestly think it's going to be a hard sell to try to get that listed, to get that attributed properly. I just don't think they're going to attribute it because I think they've realized, hey, it's actually just a die chip, and let's not go down that road. I think that's what they're going to do. So.
That's happened to a few coins.
Yep. Let's see here.
Because the better the technology gets, the better photography gets, things like that, the closer they can examine coins and stuff. So they're finding things that they used to believe were one thing that now they can tell are not. So
Tyler's got a lot of questions for us tonight. He has a 1970S DDO with a floating roof on the reverse. It's a small date, and there's actually a lot of doubling, and it's in mint condition. Do you think it's worth getting graded?
You got to send us pictures, Tyler.
Yes.
We have to see it. If it's a 70S double die, then it could be the large over small date or small over large date.
Also, if it's a business strike, it's a small date. Those are a little bit more
proof.
valuable.
That's the proof. That's the proof. 70. Okay. Yeah, 70 small over large days on the proof, right?
Yes, yeah, correct. If it's a business strike small date, 70S, then those are worth a little bit more. They're more valuable. Not necessarily, I don't know if you want to grade it or not. They're not.
Yeah. Alfred knows.
So.
Floating roof is not a thing.
No.
The floating roof is just a die that has been dressed or
overgraded. Yeah.
And you're going to find it, especially on 69s, 70s, 71s. It's not a thing. It is not a attributable variety. The 69D no FG oftentimes comes with a floating roof, so that's where they got that. And
that one's been delisted, right? That one has been.
It's still so. Yes, in short, yes. You can still find them out there. I think PCGS still has it listed as a cherry pickers variety on their site, but they're really only worth anything if they're in mint state.
Yeah.
They are only in there because they're hard to find in mint state. So.
And I think they are worth some money if you sell them. I think people do buy them.
If they're in mint state.
Yeah. So.
But that fluted coin group does trigger me. Sorry, it does trigger me because you know why? Because I get that question 50 times a day. 50 times a day.
In the email.
And I have to tell people all the time. And people see it being sold on eBay. And people are buying them because they think it's something. It's something that was a word made up years ago that people just ran with and over advertised it, and it's nothing. So
Ant wants to know, do branch mint proofs have mint marks? Also, the 42p proof nickel has a mint mark, 1 year type.
Proof nickel. Well, yeah, the nickels. So when we said that about the S mint marks on the nickels, I usually exclude the war nickels from certain discussions because I kind of think of them as their own entity. So but yeah, there was a proof war nickel. Michael Kittle sold
we already
them, and I wanted it really, really bad. But I didn't get it. I think Gringo got it. Or Alfred. I don't
know. Well, this was pretty easy. You really just need to know how to grade your coin, know what you have. It's imperative if you're going to be in the coin hobby, because value is it's kind of a lot of stuff put into one. It's like Paula said earlier, condition, eye appeal, strike, luster, proof light, toning. There's a lot of things that you have to consider. And then you compare that maybe to go on PCGS CoinFacts. You can actually look at photos, really good photos of the coins, and you can see, hey, mine looks kind of like this one. It's, and you might be pretty close. So you can certainly do it that way.
Tyler, the American Numismatic Association has, I know you said you're new, they have a YouTube channel. If you go to that and go to their playlists, they have amazing videos on grading, on the minting process. You really need to start with the minting process if you just started, but they have a ton of information on there. Buy yourself a red book. Don't use it for a price guide. Just use it for the information in there. But really start with the minting process, learning that. Don't get over your head with like grading and stuff like that, because grading is really an advanced skill. You really need to start at the very beginning, and that's where you'll be more successful if you start at the beginning and just be patient and learn. Pick one denomination, study everything you can about that one denomination before you move around, Lincoln cents, nickels, dimes, half dollars, or just
start with one, work on that one, and then once you get that one good, then start another one.
Pick your favorite. Do you love Morgan dollars? If you love Morgan dollars and want to collect them, learn everything you can about Morgan dollars. Go to VAM World, read VAM World. But really, I really encourage you, and I don't know how old you are, but and I'm not going to ask, but join the American Numismatic Association. They have great programs, but check out all of you guys, check out their YouTube channel. They have amazing learning videos on there. And Roseanne gives me a bad time because I don't push it enough, but they really do they should have like 1 million subscribers, but they don't, but they should. Because every single coin collector on YouTube should be pushing their YouTube channel.
Shannon, you want to answer this one? Or read it, please.
Now explain the difference between a blank and a rimmed planchet. People get them confused all the time. So the blank is just after it's been punched out, right? A rimmed planchet is something that's gone through the upsetting mill.
Is that? Yep.
And
Correct.
has a rim on it.
Yep.
And do they consider that type 1 and type 2? Is that what
that's another one that drives me crazy. They do call them, they call them blank planchets. They call them type 1, type 2. They are blanks and they are planchets. That's it. They are blanks when they are first, when they are first blanked, when the blanking die cuts them out, they're blanks. And they're a little bit bigger than their intended size, intended finished diameter. They're a little bit bigger. They go through an upset mill that gives them a little bit of a proto rim that helps them fit better into the striking chamber. It helps the metal stay so it doesn't flow all over the place. It's a proto rim that will turn into the design rim. And then it'll be the same, but it goes through the upsetting mill, and that's where it becomes a planchet once it has that upset proto rim. Blanks, planchets. Blanks is different. Metal.
Well, Metal Dragon Braveheart has a second question for us. I have several 69D die cracks on both sides of the memorial roof to the rim of the penny. Have those been attributed?
No, but they are super common, and they're really common in 80s, early 80s cents. They're really common on the lower
90s
part
too,
of
I think. 90s too, right?
Yeah, that is a really vulnerable area.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think there might be one that's rim to rim. I'm not positive about that on Cuds on Coins, but they're super common. You can find one, you can find both, you can find 3, you can find 4.
Right.
They're super common.
Is there any more questions that anyone wants to ask or answer? We're at about an hour and 42 minutes.
All right, cool. No, because I need to go get some dinner.
You guys had a lot of questions for us, and I
awesome.
appreciate everybody asking all the questions. We had, I don't think we've ever answered that many before, so it's pretty cool. We do this once a month.
Awesome.
Do once a month. We do it the last Monday of the month.
And if you didn't get your answer, a question answered, you can always go to the Facebook group, put it in there. Send us an email with just a question. If it's a generic question, we'll still answer questions. Yep. So certainly.
And just like I said, keep that in mind when you're sending her your emails. Try to limit them. We get, like I said, overwhelmed, and we're already behind. I'm sure. I don't even know how many we have in the box right now. I'm sure it's a lot. So
we have 63 right now.
Okay. I think earlier it was like 17. So
yesterday it was like 5,064 or something. We're not complaining about. We love answering your guys' questions.
We like the emails.
That's what we're here for. We
just don't send us a bunch of. Don't send us like 20 emails with a bunch of photos back to back.
Limit it to like 2 to 3 a week if you can. You can use our Facebook group 24/7. We do get behind on that sometimes, but you can post questions in there 24/7. So just make sure you agree to the rules and read the rules and agree to them and answer all the questions.
I've never heard of a penny called Black Arrow. I've never heard of that.
No.
And a 96 wide AM, I think, is just a fantasy.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Somebody said they found it, couldn't find it when it was time to show the, put your money where your mouth is. So it's never been seen.
Right.
It's just spoke about. It's not a thing.
So is that it, everybody?
That's it.
All right.
Think so.
Well, we're gonna get out of here, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out.
Thanks, you guys.
It's been fun. Hopefully,
make sure you hit that like button.
Learn something.
Bye.
I know I have.